What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Maverick here today with another episode of Zombieland Saga Revenge. So, as we continue on with our Yugiri storyline, and what a great storyline this has been, right? I mean, we haven't really gotten through the entire thing yet, but just the fact that we're looking at what's essentially, traveling back in time, getting to know Yugiri's backstory, and having all those different references and whatnot, I just love it, right? I absolutely love it. So, now though, how exactly are we going to end this story, right? Obviously, Yugiri dies at the very end, at this age, because that's why she is now in the current day, with that kind of appearance, right? Does that have any, perhaps, a bigger kind of impact or bigger kind of meaning to the story? Don't really know. Are they going to be able to perform in the historical world, in the historical setting? I don't really know. I mean, I certainly wouldn't put it past the producers to do something as ridiculous as that, right? Even though it would make no sense at all. But still, a lot of people are saying that perhaps they are going to perform the song Saga Jihen in order to, since it is kind of like Yugiri's song and all that. But we'll see, right? We shall see. In any case, let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. And obviously we got that entire... I mean, obviously we have this entire other storyline going around as well. I mean, there's still so much mystery surrounding Yugiri as well, right? Like, who is she actually? Does she actually have any, my guess is that she's actually doing some espionage work. Sort of like a spy, assassin, that kind of thing. And this is essentially her retired life. Especially with the moves that she has. By the way, someone mentioned to me that apparently ancient Japanese is nearly written entirely in kanji, or at least official documents, official proclamations, and whatnot. Well, that's news to me. If true, then yeah, okay, interesting. Still, though, this is about the time period when Japan is about to go to war with China, or at least tensions are rising. Although I think with the time that was displayed last episode, maybe it's still 10 years in between. But I think the main point is though is perhaps they're not really going for that kind of angle, and it's just purely in a, who knows, maybe it's just going to purely be from a Yugiri backstory perspective, right? Like maybe her enemies in court or those that she sided with before. I mean, it's obvious that Yugiri, she's not a bigwig in the political games of the government, right? She's obviously in the employment of one of the factions. So maybe a rival faction is out to get her or something of that sort. Alright. Since they call it 2 and not like they call it 1-2 and not like upper, lower, or first half, second half, right? Makes me wonder if there's actually a 3. That means this is actually a 3-episode arc or something, or a 4-episode arc. Well, I think they need to hold for much more than just a second. Considering that photography in that age. Hmm. Huh. It seemed that last episode he was choosing to go with a more moderate approach, but from what we can see so far, it seems that hmm. Yeah. They want to do an armed rebellion. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's kind of like growing out of his control now. Hmm. Why only Saga though? I mean, I feel like the ideals that this dude is spouting, right? That Kichi is trying to push doesn't really only relate to Saga. It's fundamentally is quite different from uh, all the other people. All right. What? kill him? Something like that. I would guess it's something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy's definitely working for the government, I feel. Wait, that? Oh, was that Thai we just saw there in the pictures? And also that building, isn't that their base? I mean, French Shushu's base of operations. Okay. Seems that we're about to get into something quite big and epic and potentially very sad as well. Okay. Is this guy? Oh. Oof. Swordsman, eh? Wait, this is an 18... What did it say again? 1880? Oof. I mean, personally, I see nothing wrong with what Ito did. They were literally going to start an uprising. Alright. Yeah, I completely agree with Ito here. If Kachi wanted to continue, like, try to do it for peaceful means and whatnot, I'm sure Ito would have been fine with everything, right? They were literally arming themselves and starting an uprising. And of course, Yugiri is here. Damn. Probably they are the government. Don't tell me Yugiri is gonna stay behind and... Yeah, so I guess this is where... Look at that Kitsaru. That is badass. The interesting thing here is that this period of history is commonly utilized in a lot of Japanese manga and anime works. Hmm? Yeah, he didn't. He didn't actually really seriously fight her in the end, I guess. No, still alive. Yeah, guys, that's a poem of leaving. Saying good, well, basically a farewell letter. Beheaded, eh? A reminder though, like they're showing like what happened later on, right? That happened peacefully, not through an armed uprising or whatnot. They just appealed to the central government and were officially recognized to government, right? For a petition. Okay, so here I guess they are going to be performing Tokyo Jihan. Wait, does Yugiri recognize Kotaro's voice though? No, honestly, I'm not even. Yep. There we go. Okay, I need to. So I guess there is only 2 parts to this then. Dun, 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 dun. Check it out, check it out, check it out. This is already part of, I think it can be considered her character song, actually. This is in their original album. Okay, yeah, I should probably... Her color is red, right? Check it out, check it out, check it out. I actually thought they were going to, you know, utilize some sort of ridiculous method and allow her to perform back in ancient Saga. Wow, these 2 episodes are really super Yugiri focused, aren't they? Woo! I guess it's making up for the lack of her involvement in season 1. Hi, 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 hi. Alright, after credit scene, eh? Oh wait, so this dude really is immortal! Holy shit! Okay, so not only, it's not just a reference to being an ancestor or something, it's actually him. Wow. Alright, see you guys after this. Alright guys, so there we go. I think for most fans, this is probably all that they wanted, right? To see Yugiri being badass, to see her, to see a full explanation of her backstory, and of course to have her song, Saga Jihen, within the anime, right? So we've pretty much checked all those marks, and certainly I'm glad for that as well. But mostly this part is interesting to me because of its historical perspective, right? And also some of the other, you know, things that may or may not be important here. Now, personally, I feel like the fact that all the girls, they had their respective counterparts in historical Saga, and same with Kotaro as well, to this point, I still feel like it's just some sort of cameo appearance, right? It's not meant to be interpreted too much further. Like, maybe they are the ancestors of the current girls, maybe not. It doesn't... I don't think it really bears too much importance, right? I think by and large, there's not going to be any connection between those. I mean, maybe, but until we get further evidence of that, I'm just going to assume it's just to have a, you know, it's just a fun little Easter egg, fun little cameo there, and of that sort, right? Because certainly Yugiri doesn't recognize Kotaro, right? Well, I guess, well, we don't know, right? That's not exactly completely made clear here, but I don't think she does. The only one who is persistent throughout all this is one Yugiri, right? Because she's literally from that era to here. And the other is, of course, the bartender, who I didn't notice last episode when looking at the credits that his name was actually credited as Xu Fu. But now that I do know, and thanks to some people for pointing that out, it makes a lot more sense here what kind of historical reference they're going for, right? So in the anime perspective, obviously, so we can see that this guy has survived all the way from the saga period of time all the way to the modern day. He has full memories and whatnot. He's effectively immortal, right? And the reason for that, though, is who exactly he is, right? His name is Xu Fu, and it's a very Chinese name, and the reason for that is because he is Chinese. So, who exactly is Xu Fu, right? So, Xu Fu is basically the royal doctor of the first emperor of China, Qin Shi Huang, or as most people call him, or his given name, Ying Zhen. So it's actually a huge part of the history of China as well, because I guess not really a huge part, but it's part of how we can understand Qin Shi Huang, how we can understand his actions and his increasingly illogical actions as well. See, Qin Shi Huang was, he was a tyrant and whatnot, but of course he was the first emperor, right? And certainly he had the accomplishments, being able to unify all of China, all that kind of stuff going for him. But one thing, especially in his later years, that he was most known by is his obsession, absolute obsession with the concept of immortality, right? And that manifested itself on his royal doctor as well, and various others. So he was constantly, Qin Shi Huang was constantly trying to send people out to search for the secrets of immortality. And one of the most famous examples, actually, in regards to Xu Fu, is how basically he commanded him to load up like many ships. I forgot how many. I think 10 ships, and load them with like thousands of people and mostly children, actually, and told him to just set sail and to go search for the secrets of immortality, right? Which Xu Fu did, and he never returned back. Now, there has been many theories as to where exactly he went to, but one of the common theories is that he ended up in Japan and never came back, right? So that's one of the popular theories. A lot of this is kind of like, just kind of like legends and myths and what nobody really knows. But I guess what the anime, Zombieland Saga, is trying to portray here is that, okay, so Xu Fu actually did sail from China to Japan, and he settled in Japan, and he also, in the process, figured out the secrets of immortality, right? So basically, we can see him living all the way up to this point here. And now, this is not... He already figured out immortality long before this, right? Because Xu Fu is actually someone from like something BC. What exactly is the time period? Qing should be around 200 BC, I believe. Yeah. The Qing dynasty should be around 200 something BC of that sort, and obviously where we are right now, that's in 1800 AD, right? So already 2,000 years of difference here. So if that is actually that Xu Fu, then he's been immortal for all this time already. But yeah, I think that's basically the reference to the things here, and so that's a fun little reference. And I guess the reason that he can gain immortality is because of zombification or something of that sort. It doesn't really matter, right? But I do find it fun, especially someone with historical interest, to look at things from this kind of perspective. Now, beyond that, so let's put that aside, let's talk about the entirety of this so-called saga incident, right? Now, certainly, I feel like my reactions and whatnot to the stuff that happened was a little bit cold and so on and so forth. Like, I get it, right? We're supposed to stand on the side of the girls, we're supposed to stand on the side of Yugiri and Kichi and the side of Saga and all that, but, like, come on. This is actually a pretty interesting period of time in Japan, and especially after looking at both these episodes, it's clear where what exact kind of story they're trying to tell. So this is the Meiji Restoration era, right? And like I mentioned during the episode, there's actually lots of great literature and anime and manga and whatnot that sets its time period at this point. One of my favorite works from this that's set in this time period is actually Rurouni Kenshin, which to me is still my #1 samurai kind of work, right? Rurouni Kenshin. If you guys don't know it, check it out. And basically, for the Meiji Restoration, a big point of contention at that point is, well, first of all, you need to understand what the Meiji Restoration is, right? It's basically the emperor seizing back power from the shogun, from the shogunate, and then also centralizing the government and setting up a proper form of government, what is called a constitutional monarchy, right? So the head of state, so the head of the country is still the emperor, right? He still is technically the head of the country, but the actual head of government, the head of state, is a prime minister, right? So all the way up to modern day Japan, which we see right here, that is the beginning of how they set it up to this modern day Japan. So obviously, there's going to be some pushback to this, right? Because in the past, it was all the power was controlled by the shogun and also by the powerful families, and the various powerful families, it operated more like medieval Europe in a lot of ways. So you got the king, and then you got the nobles and whatnot, and then you got the knights and so on and so forth, and you can have land if you are a knight, if you're landed, and all that kind of good stuff, right? So basically, when they did this Meiji Restoration, they took back the power from these nobles and these landed people and whatnot. They eliminated the samurai class and so on and so forth, and turned it into this modern day society. Now, as you might figure from this, a lot of people's rights were kind of trampled, right? What they had before, their power, their wealth, and whatnot. It was, it wasn't exactly the easiest point of transition. And so Saga is one of those that kind of was more violent in the period of transition, in sort of uprising and then saying, to hell with your your reformation and whatnot. We want to keep our power and so on and so forth. Because Saga was originally also like it was ruled by this, I think it's called a Saga clan or something of that sort. I'm not too familiar with the specifics of the terminology they used, but basically, in the past, especially before Meiji, all the areas, right, all the areas of interest, they were basically named after a certain clan, which controlled it. So Saga was, because of this, Saga was also told, okay, you guys can't use Saga anymore. You get to the times, and we have a new form of government. You got to rename yourself a prefecture and whatnot. And I believe what's happening here is that Saga was essentially absorbed into a new prefecture, but not its own, right? So the Saga name was lost, and that's what caused the uprising they're talking about like 10-15 years ago, and also the point of contention right now, and why they are trying to make a second rebellion, right? Now, certainly you can look at it either way, but I think, even with all the modern day criticism and kind of like looking back and whatnot, most people agree that the Meiji Restoration was a complete and necessary and very, very successful reformation for Japan. It turned Japan into an actual modern power, right? And so, standing on the side of history, you're looking at the rebellions and sagas and being like, oh, guys, come on, why do you gotta do this? Why do you got to do this kind of civil uprising and whatnot? And you're just, you're just making things worse for the entirety of Japan and so on and so forth, right? So, needless to say, I'm not very sympathetic towards the concept of a Saga rebellion, right? And even I think they failed to mention, or I guess they kind of mentioned, but only in passing, that sure, Saga was later allowed to be reset up, right? So now we do have a Saga prefecture, but it was done entirely through through legal processes, right? Through petitioning the Meiji government, saying, hey, look, we like this new form of government that you're doing. We think it's great. We absolutely support it. However, Saga, we have our own customs. Can you allow us to set up our own Saga prefecture? And hey, the Meiji government actually looked at the petition and they were like, yeah, okay, sure, cool, we're fine with this, as long as you also pay your taxes and you do everything by the book. Go ahead. And so that's how the modern day Saga prefecture was formed, and so really a lot of this conflict could have been avoided in the first place, is what I'm trying to say here. So honestly, siding with rebellions and whatnot, I'm not. I mean, Yugiri's awesome. Like, I think nobody needs to doubt that, but still, choosing to stand for and fight for that, especially when the ideals of Kachi is really more so a general kind of idea and nothing specific to Saga anyways. I don't know, man. I don't know. But you can't stand against the side of history here. So obviously what happened. The rebellion was put down later on. It was peaceably resolved and so on and so forth. Maybe Kachi had a hand in it, maybe not. We don't know. But hey, what's past is in the past, right? So sorry for going on this like huge tangent into the history of Japan and whatnot, but it is kind of an area of passion of mine, history. And I did kind of use this time to read up a little bit about the past of Saga as well. I wasn't really sure where they exactly were trying to go for this, but now seeing the full story and then also understanding it within the context of the Meiji Restoration, it kind of makes a lot more sense what exactly happened here and in the episode, and also its parallels with reality, with real history here. So, overall, just a bad situation for everyone involved. It's sad that it came to this, but I think at the end of the day, everybody kind of got what they wanted, right? And so, yeah, I guess we can call it a happy ending for everyone, right? Obviously, I think Yugiri would prefer not to be dead, but hey, since she was dead, now she's revived and she gets to live her life with some good friends in the modern era, right? So good for her. Kachi, his dream did become true at the very end. The Saga Prefecture was set up. For the Meiji government, they were able to resolve the situation peacefully, and for the people of Saga, they got their own prefecture. So everybody's happy in the end, I guess. Except for Puido. I really don't think he needed to die there, but oh well. Anyways, thank you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.